us, our Lord and Savior Minarchy. No, seriously, I'm just kidding. Hi, my name's Rick Robinson. I am the general manager of KLRNradio.com. We are probably the largest independent podcast network that you've never heard of. We have a little bit of everything, and by that, what I mean to tell you is we have news, pop culture, special events, conspiratainment, true crime, mental health shows, drama productions, and pretty much everything in between. So if you're looking for a new podcast home to grab a little bit of everything that you love all in one place, come check us out. You can find us on X under @KLRNradio. You can find us on our Rumble and our YouTube channels under the same names. You can also find us at KLRNradio.com and pretty much every podcast catcher known to man. So again, feel free to come check us out anytime you like at KLRNradio.
Santa, I make my runs about the break of day. They call me back door Santa, I make my runs about the break of day. Oh, oh, oh.
Happy Thursday to everybody out in KLRN land, and happy, merry, jubilant holiday season for everyone, whichever one you celebrate. I'm not being politically correct. I'm just covering all the bases. This is Disasters in the Making. I'm Brad Slager. We're getting ready to guide you through a snowdrift back alley venture into Hollywood and bad movies tonight, but I'm not going to do this alone because, as always, joining me on this corrupted sleigh ride through Tinseltown, that's a pretty appropriate term right now, too, is sitting next to me in the sleigh, Paul Young. What's going on, Paul?
Ho, 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 Brad. Ho, ho, ho.
Are you full of merriment and sugar plums in your head?
You know, this is the only time of the year where you can say ho, ho, ho to a group of girls and not get slapped for it.
Doing it for the hose.
Doing it for the hose. I think I've seen that as a t-shirt.
Yeah, I got that on my pinned tweet for the holiday season, in fact. It's just getting in the spirit of things. So, yes, once again, Paul and I had to come up with a warped, bent, twisted, disturbing holiday venture for the program, as this is our second show of December. So,
no, this is all you.
Yes, I managed to shove this chunk of coal into Paul's stocking for this episode.
Where did you even find this?
I've over the years of our program, I've spread my tentacles around and, made a few contacts here and there of other people who favor disturbing cinema. And I've got one of my contacts at the local tavern where we frequent, and he, by the name of Paul, by the way. I'm sensing a theme here. He hits me up usually. He's like, "So what are you guys doing this week? What you do? So he offered this up to me. He's like, "Have you ever seen a film called Santa's Sleigh?" Not of the conveyance through ice and snow. No, sleigh as in SLAY. So that alone perked up my interest, and then he explained to me some of the aspects of the film, which we are then going to do. So I was like, I'm on board. Let's try this one out. And I think I found a rather disturbing piece of crap for the holidays. I'm very proud of this one, I got to say.
Yes, you did.
Just to guide people into the merriment, we have playing Santa, a wrestler.
A Jewish wrestler.
Yes.
Most of the people in this movie are Jewish. It's a Christmas movie, and I would say almost everybody in it appears to be Jewish, including the lead character. I know for sure all the lead characters are Jewish.
Basically, if there's anyone in this film that you recognize, they are probably going to be of the Judaish faith. I'm just gonna, and it's kind of been recognized, and some even think possibly intentional. So we have Goldberg just as a start. Okay, the name alone sounds Jewish in his derivation, but he was also known in his wrestling days to be very ardent, devout follower of the faith, so that if there were competitions that fell on a Sabbath or holy days, he would not participate. Right?
No, yeah, he was very devout.
He was known for this,
Observant.
apparently. So the irony permeates this film, and it's so many other things do as well. What we're basically dealing with here is a black comedy, quasi horror film. Not really.
It's
I don't
not.
know,
There's not much horror in it. It's not even a slasher film. It's just
Yeah, I think it's a satirical take on things, although there is a significant body count. And the
like
villain in
41.
this, yeah, few dozen deaths in this one, and rather indiscriminate in nature as well, it seems. But yeah, we're talking about a rather I don't know, but yeah, black comedy is really about the only way I can go with this. It's rye in nature, WRY, not the whiskey rye, although that could be required. So yeah, what the heck are we dealing with here? This is a movie that's got a ton of questions, and I feel kind of bad, Paul, because the thrust of our program is basically to peer into the making of this film. There's hardly any information on how this thing got made.
There's nothing I could find.
I mean,
It's,
we are both pretty extensive with our research on things, and there's nothing that lays out for us, for our mindset, that this is how the production came about. So we have to kind of fill in gaps.
yeah, normally you can go to Wiki and find some information, click on a couple of things back and forth, look for some articles, and there's a bunch of reviews. There's a lot of people reviewing it.
Yeah, and there's there's little notes here and there that all pretty much get shared, but there's nothing behind
mm,
how this came about. Here's why I'm dismayed. Not only do we have Bill Goldberg in the role of Santa, but here's all the prominent actors you're going to find in this. Robert Culp, big name. Dave Thomas, major Canadian actor, comedian, Strange Brew fame. Bob and Doug McKenzie, that's them. Saul Rubinek, if you don't know him by name, you probably know him by face. He's been in everything from Warehouse 13 to Frasier, a few episodes. That's he's Rebecca Gayheart, Chris Kattan, Fran Drescher,
The Nanny, Corky Romano.
Jimmy Kahn is in this. The father from Elf. I mean, every time you turn around in the opening scene, it's like, holy crap, holy crap, they're in it. Well, technically they're in it. So
Yeah, a very technical.
the movie kicks off with a traditional Christmas meal. Christmas dinner. Everybody's
Have we said the name of the movie?
yes, Santa's sleigh.
Santa's Sleigh.
But I spelled it out.
But they do call it Satan's Sleigh, and then they turn it around and call it Santa's Sleigh.
Yes, the opening credits. They start off with that, and then the animation jumbles the letters, so it's Santa's. And then as they're doing the credit roll, of course, we're seeing the graphics leaf through this archaic book with Icelandic language. Thank you, film. That helps us out with the backstory.
Yeah, you can't read any of it.
I mean, it's just like our ancient drawings and old language from Iceland. Great. Okay. We just have to assume there's something significant in all of this.
Now, so did we talk about the guy that wrote and directed this thing?
We have not, because he's a nobody.
He's a nobody, but David Steinman. Nobody knows who he is. But somehow he has gotten into the pocket of Brett Ratner as his assistant. As most of his credits are Brett Ratner's assistant. And I'm trying to look. I tried looking through Brett Ratner's filmography to see if there was something going on during that time that would have caused this fella to say he wanted to make this movie. And the only thing I could find is he worked with him on Red Dragon in 2002. This movie came out in 2005. I'm assuming if it came out in 2005, it was filmed in 2005 because it was released December 20th of 2005. There's nothing out there. He's making a Mariah Carey movie or video, and Jessica Simpson. That's all Retner's doing. One
Yeah,
episode of
this
Prison Break. I
is.
can't figure out how where this would have come from.
I can only guess. And again, yeah, the writer director has got some film credits, but they're all as production assistants, on set director of something or other, that kind of thing. So I can only guess. And again, we apologize, but this is all we can come up with. That he probably got in Brett Ratner's ear at some point in time. He's like, how much fun would it do to make a Christmas black satire? And maybe Ratner called in some favors with his buddies. That's about all we can explain on this thing.
I was kind of expecting to see WWE's title card come up,
Yeah,
like it did for Larry the Cable Guy, but
would have made sense.
yeah,
It
but
doesn't.
it's nowhere to be found.
So yeah, we're just at a kind of a loss as to how the hell this got. Because the whole reason to choose this movie is because of the star power, such as it is. Like, okay, these are prominent names in a movie that nobody's seen. Perfect. This is right up our alley. And we're at a loss. So that's the best we could do. Is this guy had a prominent director as his, coworker and such, good friend as our assumption, and just said, "Well, we could do this on the cheap." Brett Ratner does have a production credit on this, so it seems like that's where it came from. That was the impetus of this getting made. So this opening scene, by the way, doesn't take place. Most of this is shot in Canada. This was all shot in an LA soundstage. So they probably said, "Hey, everybody come in for just an afternoon and we'll knock this out."
Well,
About all that can happen.
the opening scene, yeah, the opening scene was probably something like that.
So this is a family all gathered around the table. And as we come out of the credits, the turkey comes out of the kitchen by a rather comely figure in a red dress. To my shock and surprise was Fran Drescher.
And she's doing her best not to give her nanny voice.
Right. Yeah. She's trying to go a little bit smoky while looking curvy in this dress. Let me just go on the record and say it. Would
Smash.
She looked pretty sharp. I got to tell you, I was surprised because you see her from the neck down as the introduction. She comes in carrying the turkey, and there's some double entendre talk about meat and stuff. Yada yada. It's like, okay, this is gonna get a saucy. Holy crap, that's the nanny.
and then Rebecca Gayheart is. This is the part. This might be the most unbelievable part in the film. Chris Catano, Corky Romano, is sitting at the table. And apparently he's married to Rebecca Gayheart, but having an affair with Fran Drescher.
And rather openly so.
Right. So he's trying to mess with her at the table, under the table. And they're making comments about having a husband that is faithful for the holidays. And Fran Drescher says, well, you might as well wish for something that you can get, or something of that nature. And what was the fellow's name that's sitting at the table? The dad?
James Caan.
James Caan, yeah. James Caan said there, what did he call him? He said he called him half gay.
This whole thing, maybe ad lib was going on, I don't know, but basically Catan is looking at Gayheart, a sharp woman, I'm just gonna say it, and kind of like they're doing a little husband-wife banter, like, I tolerate you but don't hate you, but I don't want to be here with you. Fran Drescher and Jimmy Caan are married, and James Caan is like, well, I hope you didn't screw up this turkey because I like my meat moist. And she's like, what would you know about moist? You never did it. Sex. And meanwhile, Catan is like the alpha male at the table, which I'm sorry, I ain't buying it.
It's so weird.
He's, for one, like 5'0" in height, and we've only seen him be a complete dork throughout any production. But now I have to buy into him being the cagey one, like, yeah, that's right, honey. We're gonna do our thing. And meanwhile, he's feeling up Fran Drescher under the table. Sorry, no. not to say the guy's been typecast, but I'm not buying this. But this is the whole thing. This is a dysfunctional family. James Caan knows that they're screwing around and wants to stab him with a fork.
Oh, don't forget about the two sisters. The two, they're supposed to be some rich, affluent family. It's what they're putting out. Rich and affluent. And the two sisters, Beth and Taylor, played by Alicia Lauren and Annie Sorrell. Now, if you don't recognize their names, you will recognize their bodies from Cruel Intentions 2. When they're in the shower together, trying to come on to with that one dude from the college or whatever. It's a stupid movie. We may have to cover that at some point. They don't have much else to their name, and here they are sitting at a table with all this star power.
Yeah, that was again. This is where we're trying to piece it together. It's like, why are they here? But they're just playing the role of two snotty, privileged daughters. It's like, I better get a
Kate Spade bag.
Yeah, if I don't get a Kate Spade bag or Jimmy Choo shoes or something, this is a suck ass Christmas. Or
Yes,
it's like, shut up and eat your turkey. I don't want to hear this nonsense.
And bro, the prayer. Oh my goodness gracious!
The whole thing is, okay, I can buy into this. It's supposed to be screwy. It's supposed to be some kind of twisted, bent kind of thing. All right. Now, while they're in the process of starting things off, and they also have a privileged little lap dog that has its own
bed.
I want to call it a bed, but it's more like a throne, really.
It's a 4-poster bed for a dog.
Yeah, that kind of family. Then we see some soot start to fall down into the chimney, then a pair of boots.
Well, I got to address this prayer because the prayer was killing me. First off, this whole scene, it films and feels and is like acted as if it's a stage setup, like you're watching a theatrical, like somebody on stage doing this role, right? It doesn't even feel like you're watching a movie. It feels like you're watching a stage production of some sort. It's really weird, right? Like the deliveries are all odd. There's no extra anything in the scene. They like make it feel as if that room expands into another house. Like it is clearly all foam and sheetrock that they've cobbled together for this particular moment.
The whole thing feels like a 3-wall.
Yes, the whole thing. And have you started watching Landman with Billy Bob Thornton yet?
I have not. I'm waiting for the whole thing, and I'm gonna binge it.
But, I thought it was only 6 episodes long. Is it longer than that?
Oh, it might be. I don't know. Did they wrap now?
I thought they wrapped. I've watched all 6 episodes. It's a great show. Billy Bob Thornton is fantastic in it. So
it's a Taylor Sheridan venture, so you know it's going to be awesome.
That dude is rich as crap.
And prolific. Holy cow!
He's everywhere.
Can't turn around without another thing coming out that he's written. And it's not like he's knocking these movies out as 8 to 10 episode shows. I mean, he does Yellowstone. He's got 3 prequels to it. Other series. He did Sicario. He does motion pictures. Dude, when do you have time to do this crap?
Oh, you're right. It's 10 episodes long. I didn't realize that. I thought it was. I've only watched 6.
Okay. Yeah.
Allie Lartner is really good too, playing the crazy woman, and Demi Moore. I have no idea why she's even in the show. She's got zero purpose. But there's a scene in Landman where Allie Lartner has the whole family sitting at the table, and they're a really completely dysfunctional family. And she says she wants to say a prayer. Now that it's completely out of the scope of what's happening with these characters at this point. So for sure, she starts saying this prayer, and the lawyer's at the table, and she's saying all these things, and he leans over to one of the other helpers. He's like, "Is she still praying?" Like she's saying words that you wouldn't normally hear during a prayer. And then when she says amen, he goes, "That might be the first time I've ever heard blasphemy in a prayer." And that's what this prayer in this movie reminded me of, was that scene, because of these twins that are, I guess they're twins, I don't know, the sisters are praying, and they're like, "Thank you for not making us poor." Thank you for the new M. She's like, and thank you for the new M class. She goes and help all the what she says, help all the unfortunate, and tell him to work harder. What? What? I mean, the prayer is probably the funniest written thing in this movie, truthfully.
Well, that's where this entire opening scene, it gives you hope. You're like, okay, there's stuff here I could get on board with. All right, I get a feel for what you're doing. You're being, dark and satirical. I can get into it. If only they carried this through the rest of the film.
And they do not.
No, so we see the boots in the fireplace. They drop down, and then Goldberg Santa busts through
Like
work and everything.
Like the Christmas Kool-Aid man. Oh yeah.
Get Kool-Aid now in new eggnog flavor. He breaks through the hearth and everybody shows up and like, what's going on? And another nod to this film having purpose and potential. The very first kill in this film is the dog.
The dog, he kicks it right into the ceiling fan.
And I kind of like Jimmy Kahn that, you could tell he didn't care for the dog to begin with. And when the dog dies, he's like, okay. he's kind of on board with it. And, the family starts screaming, what are you doing? And then he systematically goes through and renders each person at the dinner table in various fashions.
Let's see, he kills Fran Drescher. Then he rams something through her head.
I think the first one was one of the girls.
No.
One of the girls falls back in her chair and she gets impaled by the 4-post on the dog bed.
4-post on the dog bed.
Fran Drescher gets killed through fire.
He burns her hair off.
Yeah.
She's running around all burned up, and then he just drowns her in eggnog.
And I'm just going to say this, she wasn't hot no more. So,
no, she was literally hot.
Yeah, she see what you did there. So burns off half her hair, and then he proceeds to slam her into the punch bowl of eggnog. James Caan can't help because both of his hands have been stabbed into the table.
He's trying to pull them out with his teeth. Trying to pull the knives out with his teeth.
Fighting on one to dislodge it to no avail. Chris Kattan stands up and pretends like he's going to protect people with pseudo judo moves or something.
Have you seen The Ghost of Mr. Chicken? It's one of my daughter's favorite Halloween movies. We watched it this year. We watch it every year.
I have to plead ignorance on this offer. No.
Oh, it's got Don Knotts in it. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic Don Knotts film. The Ghost of Mr. Chicken. You need to watch it. And when you watch it, Don Knotts acts like he knows karate. He takes a karate class via correspondence. He's had 3 classes of karate via correspondence. This is filmed in the 50s, so correspondence is just by letter. So he's taking karate by letter.
YouTube.
And so when he goes to defend himself, he does the same moves that Chris Kattan does in this film, where he's moving his hands back and forth, going, yeah, like he's chopping a salad. yeah. I texted it to my daughter, and she started laughing because I told her to go watch this one scene, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, that's just like Don Knotts." I said, "I know." So if I ever get a chance to talk to Chris Kattan, which may not happen, I'm going to ask him if that was his inspiration for his particular type of self-defense.
That would be the most obscure callback possibly in film history.
I know.
In order to prepare for my role in Santa's sleigh, I watched The Ghost and Mr. Chicken.
It's Chris Kattan on X because we already know Larry listens to it. We're catching some eye. So
we're a name dropping group here. We're starting to hit with the elite. No, maybe D-listers, but something to that effect.
Chris Kattan is on Twitter. I'm looking him up right now, and he has not responded to anything or tweeted since August 26th of 2023. So I don't feel very good about him responding, but I will ask him. That's what he's doing.
Go check Blue Sky. That's where they're all heading these days, supposedly. But we just see everybody systematically die off here. James Caan gets his head smashed. Kattan gets thrown into the armoire full of china plates, and we're left wondering just what the hell is going on. So basically, this film's entire star power, with the exception of a wrestler, has been expelled in the first 4 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, if it was even 4 minutes long, it might not have been that long.
Then we cut to a small town deli in the middle of Canada, in a place called, was it Helltown? Hellville?
Helltown.
Helltown.
Hell comes to Frogtown. That's all I can think of. That's another wrestler movie, by the way. I
Well,
think
this
it's all
is
related.
Oh yeah, that one's kind of a classic though. But
Hell comes to Frogtown.
I saw one little side note on this though. The production. This is in like a tiny village outside of Edmonton where they filmed this, and they said when the residents, they got excited. Oh, they're going to film a movie here. And they said, well, we're going to rename the city Helltown, and they were like, yeah, pretty appropriate. They weren't offended at all. They were like, yeah, nailed it. So yeah, this is a tiny burg, and it's not. It's not one of these sweet little townships like you see in a Hallmark movie where it's all festooned for Christmas or something. This is basically an outpost place. Moose hunters and such like that are in their area. But we're in this deli, and that's where Saul Rubinek is running the show here. And he's got two teenagers, and he's like, go, you kids. Come on, it's Christmas. Go celebrate, because we're all Jewish. The thing. But he gives them presents, and then this old lady comes in here to order a sandwich, who is Karen on steroids.
This lady is amazing.
She's like
Everything
70
about her
years
is
old,
great.
smoking, bitching and moaning, and she's like, listen, you little snot-nosed punk, give me the roast beef and not the fat-free stuff, but the good stuff, and make my damn sandwich. And then, she's talking to this teenage kid who's actually like cool.
Well,
He's like,
she
whatever,
says, what,
ma'am.
he goes, what's in the holiday hoagie? And this dude's just like, it's got cranberry sauce and stuffing and chicken and turkey, and it's got a bunch. She goes, slow down, I can't do it. You do it slower. And he's like, it's got Cheerios and all sorts of weird stuff. That's when she starts like going off on him and getting all old person on him.
So then Saul comes out, and he's trying to mollify things and says, hey, how you doing, Mrs. Crabass? And that, unbothered. And she's like, don't give me that. Just give me my damn sandwich and don't charge me. And I want the senior discount. And she's just unloading. It's like, holy crap, woman, just pump the brakes a little. And he gives her a sandwich. She pays in all quarters.
And she tells him to decorate the place for Christmas, but he's Jewish. There's menorahs and Hanukkah stuff everywhere. Everything's blue and silver.
Well, he gives her a sandwich and is like, and happy holidays, Mrs. Crabass. Don't give me that political bull crap. It's Christmas. You wish me Christmas. He's like, then Merry Christmas. She turns around now, and there's a teenage girl doing nothing but cleaning a counter. She's just wiping it down and something, and she just turns to her and is like, and you too, whore.
No, and she says, can you tell me Merry Christmas? And Saul Rubinek says, Merry Christmas, this is what's your name? And she goes, thank you. And F you. This lady's character.
She is in the red zone the entire time.
Oh, she is killing it. Is she Mrs. Talbot? Is that her name?
I think so. Yeah, that
Donna
sounds about
Sook.
right.
I hope she's been in some other stuff. She's been in exactly 2 movies, and they were 8 years apart.
Wow.
This is all she's ever done. She's got to be related to Retner. I'm like, if we started doing a deep dive Hollywood family tree, these people have got to have some sort of 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
This woman sunk her teeth into the role. I'll give her that much. I mean, she was all about it.
If I did not look up her IMDb page, I would have told you that she's been doing this for years.
Yeah, she was all on board.
She was fantastic.
The throttle. So she gets out in her car now, and her whole thing is smoking. Gotta have a cigarette. She's got an old car with the push button lighter, and she's weaving across the roadway back and forth at about 20 miles an hour in the snow drift roadway. And here comes Santa with his sleigh pulled by what looks like a white buffalo. They call it a hell deer. I love that thing.
That's got to be where I don't know what the budget was for this movie, but most of it had to have been spent on that thing.
Yeah,
At
this
some point, I was like, "Oh, that's a pretty fake deer, or it's a pretty fake white buffalo." And then at some point, I'm like, "It's blinking and the head's turning.
yeah,
That's
they
got to
did
be
some
real.
work
Is that
on
a
it.
real buffalo?"
Yeah, I was buying into it at times. It's like, oh, where'd they find this? Did they spray paint a buffalo? That's a great thing. It's got horns and all of it. And it actually looked pretty good. And this is his hell deer pulling his sleigh. So he's going down the road and this old woman's in the way. And
She's weaving. She can
yeah, the
barely.
whole time she's serpentining down the road as she's trying to light this cigarette. Santa's getting all pissy about it. So he blows his horn and then she leans out the window and says, "Stick it up your ass, eh?" And this is a Santa that doesn't take this kind of crap. So he hits the reins, the buffalo speeds up, hits the car, and now the thing goes about 80 miles an hour off a snowbank, flips upside down, crashes. We ain't got Mrs. Talbot no more. This is our movie.
She's just upside down.
Santa is just as indiscriminate as it comes. We need to figure out just what's going on. What's driving this madcap, blood-soaked rampage of Santa? Well, the two kids from the deli leave, and the girl is dropping Nick. His name is Nick Yuleson. Yuleson. That seems significant, as does everything in this movie. Did you notice, like, whatever prop or reference comes up, it has to be used in this movie? I mean, they went full bore on that. You know, it's the old Chekhov's gun all over this movie. So
Oh yeah.
he was given a clock by the deli owner for Christmas present. And he's like, wow. And he's like, no, it's got every single time zone. You push this button and the time zone in that part of the world comes up. Isn't that fabulous? And he's like, sure. Well, that's going to come up later.
And why would I ever use that? Are there
But
25 time zones?
I didn't really verify that, but at the same time, I'm going to buy into it because it just seems like too much work for this film. This movie doesn't deserve that kind of research.
There are 24 time zones.
Ah, maybe it includes the North Pole, and that would be the 25th, as we learn later in the movie. So the girl's driving Nick home. She's all about Nick, while at the same time, throughout this movie, pretty much lays out every single reason not to like Nick.
Oh yeah.
She's always making fun of him for, when are you going to make the first move? How come you can't fire a gun? Will you be a man, damn it? That kind of thing throughout the movie, yet she's completely infatuated with him.
Why can't you fire a gun? Let's give this movie some credit here because it's got a fantastic soundtrack. There are some great songs in this movie. Rock the Bells, Rock the Christmas Bells is in there.
Yeah, we get like one traditional carol at the start of things to show, a house all decked out with lights and everything else. But everything else is a new Christmas classic, let's say. They're all rock songs or other variations that describe what's going on the screen, basically. So it's enjoyable. It's just a nice distraction, let's say.
It is. It feels like it's most of the songs in this film do feel like they do not belong in this movie simply because of their production value.
So Nick gets dropped off by the saucy and crabby blonde girl and takes an extensive amount of time unlocking the door. So he has to go under a statue to get a key to unlock 2 deadbolts, puts it back, then gets another key from behind a hanging thermometer to open another one. And this is where I caught a goof. It's going to be on IMDb. I submitted it. He doesn't put it back behind the thermometer. He puts it under the statue like the first one. Screw up.
But they make the grandfather seem like he's very
Yeah, I mean, it all makes sense once we get into it. So he comes in the house and he's looking for his grandfather, meets him, played by Robert Culp. What the hell is going on?
a paranoid a paranoid conspiracy theorist prepper.
Yes. Also an inventor. Also minor Santa historian. Basically, Robert Culp has about 7 skills, all necessary for the plot.
And the inventor part of it, like only comes into play once. He just basically wrote whatever he wanted that guy to do.
Yeah, it's like, shoot, how do we get this? Let's have Grandpa do it. Cool. Let's have Grandpa just do everything. How about that? Even better. So, yeah, he meets Grandpa and takes him down. He's like, "You're not inventing again, are you, Grandpa?" "Well, let me take you down to my subterranean hovel where I do my inventing." And he picks up a white nutcracker. Now, I'm sorry. Granted, I'm not an inventor myself, but when it comes to anything that could dispense ordnance at a dangerous level, maybe warn people. Hmm. So Nick picks this up and he's like, "Oh," he's like, "just be careful with it." That's the extent of the warning. And Nick's like, "No, but it's a nutcracker." He's like, "Yeah, and did you know that you have to pierce a walnut before you cook it, or else it'll explode?" And then this nutcracker goes off and fires something in the basement, ricochets 4 or 5 times around, and they're all just like, "Ooh, wow, that almost happened," instead of ducking for cover. So again, a nutcracker that fires bullets. That's weird. Wonder if that's going to come up later in the film.
Every time.
And
The Foley artist in this film was working overtime, by the way. Pew
yeah,
pew. It's pew pew pew. Everything is pinging off. There's sounds happening everywhere.
I get the sense that Brett Ratner called in just about every single favor he could on behalf of this film. So we need some good sound effects. And I know Tommy, he owes me because I put him on the X-Men film, so he's going to do it for me. Watch. So then we also learn that Grandpa has built basically a safe room. There's it's got a door basically that you would see in a bank vault. Welded steel with a massive wheel on the front of it, and then inside the vault itself, it has a secret passageway hidden in a big steel hot water tank. I mean, it's like whatever they need, Grandpa's got it. Let's just say that. And that's going to come into play later as well. Now we cut back to downtown. We've already learned Santa's basically pissed off and doesn't want anything to do with Christmas, right?
But we don't know why. They haven't told us
Right.
why yet. There's been no explanation to it.
So here's my question. That being the case, why would this Goldberg Santa be working the Salvation Army donation pot?
Yeah, he's just kind of standing there, ringing.
He's standing there doing the bell. And
okay. Finish the scene, and I'll tell you what my thoughts were up to this point on Santa's motivations.
okay. So yeah, we've seen him tear-assing through houses, killing people indiscriminately, and now he's just standing on a sidewalk ringing a bell collecting money. A leather-bound mugger comes up and is like, "Hey, Santa, what you got in the pot? And why don't you give that to me? Why don't you give me that cash? That's my money now. Hey, Santa." And then Santa just turns to him, pulls the candy cane he's sucking on that has now been sucked down to a point, and rams it right through his eye, slams him to the ground, and kills him right there on the sidewalk.
And that's the end. And cut scene.
Right in front of everybody, too. So I only assume this guy maybe worked for United Healthcare. I don't know. I'm speculating.
Yeah, that's it. There's no other context for this scene. That the dude is not part of the mugger is not part of any other scene that we've seen him in up to this point. We have not seen Santa being a part of the Salvation Army. It's literally just a death scene thrown in between like 2 unrelated scenes. It's really weird. But at this point, Santa's only killed jerk-offs. Right?
Yeah,
Santa he's only killed jerk-off. He killed a whole family of jerk-offs. He killed a jerk-off woman, old lady, and now he's killed a jerk-off mugger. And so at this point, I'm thinking, again, there's been no explanation, but I'm thinking, okay, Santa is an anti-hero. and he's like the Punisher or David Harbour Santa from Violent Night, right?
Yeah, I
He's
mean,
just going around killing bad people who were just jerkwads during the Christmas holiday. You're gonna be a big old a-hole. I'm gonna kill you for the holidays. That's what I'm thinking at this point. It plays so far, right?
yeah, but we're also still in the first act, and we're basically just grasping straws here for any kind of semblance of a sensible plot, but none are really forthcoming. So okay, let's see. He kills the guy with the pot. We go back to the house now, and Grandpa takes Nick upstairs, hits a button, and a safe rises up out of the floor. And from the safe, he pulls out this massively thick hardcover book. This is like
He
you see
cut
any kind of fantasy film. This is where all the spells and everything are.
Yulson Nick calls it the Necronomicon.
Yeah,
And I'm like, I don't think you pronounced that correctly.
I've never known how to pronounce it correctly, so I couldn't really correct him on it.
Necronomicon. And I think he says like Necronomicon. Like he's in a Muppets or Sesame Street thing. Necronomicon.
And I've always called it the Necrocomicon.
Necronomicon.
And funny thing, I'll say that, and people know exactly what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But
You know,
basically,
this movie could have had some potential had they gone the route of making Santa killing just jerkwads the whole film. Like if they had turned him into Krampus. I thought that's what they had done, is that they were making him, Santa had basically just given up and decided to become Krampus and punish people as opposed to vengeful. And I'm like, okay, I'm on board with this story if that's what they're doing, because that's a more interesting take. And it's prior to Krampus coming out. Have you seen Krampus?
sure, I got a Krampus bell on my tree.
Yeah, Krampus is a really good dark comedy, in my opinion, about Christmas and jerkwads getting it from Krampus.
I
They
think
did,
Krampus wasn't that a mythological story they used to tell kids. It was like, instead of getting
yes,
coal in your stocking, if you're bad, Krampus will come and get you.
yeah, that's right. And I actually have a board game that's Santa versus Krampus. You play these two characters.
Of course you do.
They're like the yin and yang of the Norwegian folklore for Christmas folklore. But that would have been that. I think at that point, if that's what they were doing, I was on board. I'm like, okay, some of the scenes are some of the dialogue is funny. The scenes are cut together in a way that makes no sense. Most of the characters are ridiculous, but I like the old lady, and I like most of the people in the opening scene. So, come on, movie, let's pick it up. We should also mention that by this point, we're about a third of the way through the film. This movie's only an hour and 18 minutes long.
Yeah, that's one thing in its favor, though. It does, at least the first two acts move at a pretty decent clip, I'll say. So you're engaged. And Grandpa's given the history now that we get a feel for things here. Turns out there were two immaculate conceptions in history. Imagine our surprise.
Dude, the scene that's about to take place is the most ridiculous thing I've ever watched since Community.
So, yeah, we learned that Satan had an immaculate conception of his own, and the birth led to Santa, who was evil, who is bad, and of course, all these things. But he gets into, and this is our backstory. Strap in, folks. This all happens. We learned the history of Santa via stop motion animation, a la Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer specials. We go Franklin and Bass on this, and learned that at some point in time, I'm can't believe I even have to tell this myth. Santa, who was evil at the time 1,000 years ago, met an archangel on a frozen lake where there was a hole in the ice, and they had to throw stones to see who could get closer because they made a bet. And if Santa loses, he has to be nice and give out presents for 1,000 years. The contest is, I guess, the first ever curling competition.
Curling for Christmas.
The souls of the world. And I guess Santa got a little cocky, said, "Hey, I can knock this out. I can go first." Kind of like the devil goes down to Georgia. I'm so good, I'm going to fiddle first. Well, Santa said, "I'm going to roll my rock to the hole first." So whoever got closest to the hole wins. Then the archangel does his rock, knocks Santa's rock into the hole, which by curling rules should mean he wins, but no, it means he loses here. I guess the commissioners changed the rules some time ago. But
well, this is like Mortal Kombat for Christmas.
Yeah. The whole purpose of this game was closest to the hole without falling in. Well, Santa's rock fell in, and now he has to be good. Well, that took place exactly 1,000 years ago in the timeline of this film, which means Santa's no longer obligated, and he can go back to being evil. Oh, now it makes sense, Paul. That's why he's killing people.
Well, this is like Jeepers Creepers, where he comes back every so often, and he takes a human form, goes on a killing spree.
Now, this all made sense, but I was at a loss as to why was there a time limit of midnight to this. I missed that aspect because they said once it strikes midnight, he can't kill any. Does it mean he can only kill on Christmas Day?
Right, because Christmas was the day of slaying for Santa.
Okay.
So when Christmas is over, he can no longer slay. But for some reason, Santa's only choosing to slay inside of this town. It's like the Christmas purge.
Yeah, I suppose so. And yeah,
for 24 hours, Santa can kill anybody he wants to without repercussions.
And of course, you run into the common sense problem here, in that Santa's bidden by this rule for some reason. He could kill anybody, which is basically against the law, but at midnight he has to stop killing. What if he doesn't stop? What happens?
The archangel will come back and tear him a new one.
I'm at a loss here as to what is preventing him from continuing this killing spree. Ah, damn it! It's midnight. If I kill another person after midnight, what happens, Santa? You're in some kind of trouble. But these are the rules of the movie, I guess. All right, so what do we got now? All right, we've got then we meet the pastor of the town. This is something that takes place in this movie throughout that bugged me. Think of Christmas time. Everybody goes to see their family at Christmas, right? You go, you spend time with your family. In this movie, everybody goes out to do stuff on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. There's outdoor caroling. There's a skeet shooting competition on Christmas Day.
There's outdoor daytime caroling in the middle of the day.
Nobody spends time with their family on Christmas Day. They go out and do social things, apparently, in this town. Somehow, Helltown is the most pleasant. You love all your neighbors in Helltown. I can't stay home with my family. I have to go out and skeet shoot. Of course. So they're at the church and they're passing this around. And then the pastor, who's Dave Thomas, of Bob and Doug fame, he, after the sermon is over, rolls up to a strip club in his Mercedes.
Gold diggers.
And he's in there stuffing the money from the collection plate into the G-string of the various girls. This strip club is packed, by the way, with women. I mean, on Christmas Eve.
There's nobody else in there.
No. There's like 4 customers and over a dozen naked girls.
But see, and this is where the movie's story doesn't make much sense. Not as if it's made sense up to this point, but all this stuff has happened on Christmas Eve. Santa's been killing. He only gets to kill on Christmas Day. Christmas Day hasn't started yet. That old woman was buying a roast beef sandwich on Christmas Eve at midnight.
Yeah,
Is that what I'm supposed to believe? This Jewish delicatessen was open until after midnight on Christmas Day?
we've got timeline problems and plot holes. I'm just saying. Damn it, this movie with Santa killing people indiscriminately is not making sense. Imagine.
I will say that whoever the costume designer was for Goldberg's Santa outfit did an amazing job.
Yeah, a lot of work went into that. I mean, he's got a full outfit. He's got a pretty ornate hat that he wears. His beard and hair are, holiday specific. He's adorned. This guy's set up. Plus, the sleigh is pretty big. And then you got the CGI hell deer.
And the color scheme that they've chosen is not white. It's more gray and black and red. Mm-hmm. And it's not even, it's like I would call it more of a dark blood.
Yeah, it's not the flashy red you'd expect, more like brick colored almost or something.
No, it's well done. I mean, he looks the part. He doesn't stand out. Goldberg is clearly having a good time playing this character.
Yeah, he's all about it. He's there.
Yeah, he does. It doesn't feel as if he's doing this, just going through the motions of playing this thing. He's got a handful of lines. He didn't have a lot of dialogue in this film at all. It's mostly just him doing his wrestling.
A lot of one-liners and things like that. But yeah, he's having fun. He's good with this. And he then slides up to the strip club shortly after the pastor flips the keys to the valet guy to go park his sleigh, who actually tries to do so. I'm kind of confused by that, but okay. Good. He's in his valet jacket, climbs in the sleigh. He's like, what do I do? And then the thing takes off on him. And then Santa kills the doorman, goes inside and has a time of it, basically killing what few clients and bouncers and bartenders there are. The girls, however, not so much.
Yeah, he doesn't really, he messes with them and burns the strip club down, but doesn't do anything I don't think he kills a single topless woman.
No, he's doing his little rampage in the place, and the girls all kind of scurry together and huddle up around a corner and such. And then he's like, and he pulls out a flaming rock that's going to burn the place down, but the girls are able to escape.
It's a piece of coal.
So they run out into the snow wearing just a skirt and nothing else. The poor girls. But this is where we now see that he's crossed over into just random killing. I wasn't aware though, how did the pastor get out? Because he wasn't killed yet.
I don't know if he doesn't die.
No, he was killing the bouncers and a couple of the clients. The one guy that gave him the stripper pole that he had to wipe down first before killing somebody with it. And
he's wearing gloves.
But still, you got Canadian skanks rubbing up on that thing. It's better to be safe. You don't want to catch like a north of the border strain of chlamydia from them. That's for sure.
Christmas chlamydia.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a terrible stripper name.
Yeah, doesn't get hired too often, does she? But we gradually come to find out that he starts tracking down Nick and the girl for some reason. So at this point now he's getting over to Grandpa's house where Nick is at, starts stalking them. They run down into the basement, then they get into the safe room while Santa's tearing the place apart looking for him. This is when we learn that the water heater is also an escape hatch so that they can now go outside and escape via snowmobile. Because that's what you do in Canada.
And they were pull start. They're pull start snowmobiles.
Old school. Yes. Gotta have a two-stroker when you're escaping. Don't take the cars. God forbid you think of doing that. And so this is when we see them outdoors, and Santa and Grandpa square off and start mouthing off at each other. These guys know each other. Plot development, Paul. So he's like, wow, you're getting fat. Look at you, son of a bitch. You look like hell after all these years. Yeah, well, Mrs. Santa feeds me well, you old fart. They're like trash talking each other. What's going on here?
But we're supposed to think there's some sort of backstory. Like this dude's grandpa is actually some sort of Santa hunter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like this has been he's just a long line of Santa hunters. Like it's what is that? What's that movie where these guys hunt? It might be a TV show. Grimm. Like he's from a Grimm fairy tale where his whole family
Like
hunts bad Santas.
Santa bounty hunter.
Yeah, you know, and like this is what they do. They hunt Santa. They protect the world from Santa. But there's nothing like they don't do anything else with that information. It's just the grandpa
that's a bit of a false flag, Paul. They were misdirecting us, as we come to find out later. Ooh, movie, you deceptive thing, you. So, yeah, the kids are getting on a snowmobile now, getting ready to escape, although they're not really escaping. And then Santa rides into the sleigh and wipes the hell deer, brings the sleigh over and wipes out Grandpa.
Yeah, he knocks him down, and then I guess we're just assuming Grandpa's dead because you see him make like a stomping motion in the snow.
Yeah, he's pancaked in the snow, goner, and Nick and the girl have to escape on snowmobile at this point. And Santa's like, Jace, okay. Chase scene. Gotta go after it now. All right. Get ready for the chase scene, folks, because there's a lot of snowmobile jumping going on in Canada these days, apparently. Some point the girl lost control or ability of her snowmobile, so she has to tag along with Nick on his.
Well, she couldn't pull start hers.
Got it. Yep. So she's gotta hug him as they go tearing throughout the tundra with Santa on their tail. Santa's flying, by the way. He's got a jetpack on the back of his sleigh, I guess. I'm at a loss as to why this meant he was behind Grandma on the road at the start of the movie, but nobody wants that callback. Moving on. Yeah, so he's chasing them as they're jumping over snowbanks. They clear one into the skeet shoot competition that's taking place on Christmas Day, because of course it is. And then they get into town where the entire city has shown up to do caroling around the tree, some more indiscriminate killing while the kids go hide out in the high school. And I really didn't know if I liked this or wanted to hate the movie, but while tracking them in the school, he throws a book at Nick and then says, "I'm here to scare the dickens out of you people."
Yeah, there's a lot of that nonsense.
Thank
a
you,
lot of
movie.
a lot of bad Christmas puns.
But throughout this now, the girl's berating Nick on the regular. It's like, come on, just do it, just lift it, just do that. Like, she's clearly the alpha in this budding relationship. That's all there is to it.
I mean, the scene where he shoots Santa with a shotgun, she has her grandpa's brake barrel shotgun underneath the floorboard to her really cool truck, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand how he was able to. It's a long gun. It's clearly antique. It's a long gun, and she just keeps the shotgun shells in what was the ashtray?
Mm-hmm.
In the ashtray, and he's trying to load them.
You're in Canada. What else are you gonna do with them?
That's true.
Yeah, this is just a long and ponderous chase scene going on to the extent it extends to the hockey rink, because of course that's where you're going to run to escape somebody on ice without skates.
Well, in Canada, there's hockey rinks as close as there are Starbucks.
Absolutely. I just don't know, when you're trying to flee a rampaging murderer, why would you get on a sheet of ice in your shoes? That's just my question. But,
especially when you know that it'd be Santa.
But I think this is script convenience that we're talking about here. So they're kind of cornered, and of course, Santa has to come and bear down on them with about maybe the slowest mechanism you could possibly use to chase somebody, and that would be the Zamboni.
What movie did we watch that we discussed where the Zamboni kills the person, but the person doesn't get out of the way in time?
Well, they did that in the first Deadpool, I know. There was also, yeah, what was that one? It was kind of like, no, you can't do it. It's like, okay, it's going 3 miles an hour.
Yeah, you can get out of the way.
Go, just move to the side. You can just.
I feel like it was a movie that you and I discussed.
I want to say, yeah, that's. Was it? It wasn't in Pucked. Yeah, it feels like one we shouldn't need to do. What did we do? Where else would we have a Zamboni recently? Now this is gonna bug me.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna have to figure it out.
Gonna have to piece this one together at some point in time. But he's bearing down on them, and again, they seem incapable of getting out of the way, so they just cower in the corner at the ice rink. And just as the Zamboni is gonna wipe them out, it stops.
It stops in the most ridiculous way.
I have no idea how this happened. So they're screaming and it just stops dead. And Santa's like, the hell? A curling stone was slid across the ice into the back of the Zamboni, rendering it dead on the spot. Somehow. The physics of this even if you stop a Zamboni dead on the ice, it's going to slide forward because it's on ice. But the curling stone stopped it. Damn it. Where'd this come from, Paul? Where'd this stone come from?
Oh, you didn't see the dude throw it? The grandpa threw it.
The glowing grandpa over by the bench slid the curling stone and stopped the Zamboni dead in his tracks before he can make them dead.
Do you think the grandpa was supposed to be the archangel?
No, he was. They established that.
Oh, they did that? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that portion of it.
Yeah, it was, I don't know, somewhere during the squaring off monologue. Because remember, they had to do the scene coming up that's, as, believe it or not, dumber than previous ones. So Santa turns around to see Grandpa glowing there. The kids are like, oh my gosh, Grandpa, you're still here. You're an angel or something. And then Santa gets pissed, punches the ice or something. A big orange crack appears throughout the sheet of the hockey rink. And then a big hole opens up, a portal to hell. Grandpa, who was the archangel in the original contest, now squares off with Santa to replicate their curling match from earlier. This is taking place. If Grandpa loses now, he has to go into hell for eternity. This is our movie. So Santa, apparently learning his lesson, had Grandpa throw his stone first. We are literally having a curling match for the souls of this world.
I told you, it's like Mortal Kombat.
And exactly. I stole the script, I think. Grandpa gets his rock like right there. It's hanging over the edge. I mean, high scoring, boom, nailed it, Grandpa. Santa now pulls up his rock, brushes off the bottom, gets ready. And get this, the guy that's just murdered about 4 dozen people, he cheated, Paul.
Ridiculous.
Can you believe this?
And here we thought we could trust you.
Yeah, jeez. When you can't trust a murderer Santa, there's just no hope for the holiday anymore.
Who can you trust?
Instead of sliding his rock, he then drops it, grabs Grandpa, and throws Grandpa towards the hole and into the whole portal to hell. Grandpa has died again. Ugh.
Thank you, Grandpa. You were right
And,
there.
This is what's going on anymore. So, now this, I got questions. Nick and the girl managed to get away because apparently, and without any notice and without any piece of evidence of this being the case, Nick had Grandpa's 3 foot tall armed nutcracker the whole time.
The whole time. I don't know where he's keeping it.
What?
In his nutcracker
No.
sheath.
But there it is. He's got it and neutralizes Santa with the nutcracker that he supposedly has been carrying on this chase scene all this time. No, he did not, is all I'm saying.
I can believe everything but that.
Yeah, but I was on board with this film until this took place. Now I can't believe anything I see. A portal to hell in the middle of a hockey rink? Sure. Carrying a 3 foot nutcracker the whole time? Bullcrap. I'm calling it now.
Yeah. A big giant hell beast shaped like a buffalo? Maybe.
Of course. Naturally. I've seen the Animal Planet. I know what's going on. So, because of this, Santa now, I guess, can't abide anything. So he gets on the Zamboni, drives it through a wall, and escapes. And the kids go over, and what do you know? They look into the portal to hell, and there's Grandpa just hanging out. Hey, you guys want to help me? Maybe rescue me or something? So they pull him out of the hole. Now, was he trash talking with some demon?
I think so.
I had to replay this scene. I was like, wait a second, who's he? Because I thought, no, Santa busted through the wall. Who are you yammering with? But he's looking down in there, and he's saying, you hear a voice like, come on down, it's time, we need you, or something. And he's like, yeah, suck it, guys. And he drops his curling stone into the hole, and in a flash seals it up, and we have a perfect sheet of ice once again.
Because why wouldn't you?
I need more eggnog, because this movie is challenging me in ways that defy common sense, pragmatism, and anything else involving Christmas and the holidays. All right, so now the kids decide they have to go and take care of Santa. They have to go after him. They run out the side wall of the hockey rink that Santa created, turn around, and Grandpa says, no, I can't, guys. I'm stuck here. I can't leave here. What?
He's like Doctor Strange. He has to stay here and protect him from the bad guy.
He's
if he leaves,
like,
everything dies.
He's like a Paris mime with his hands up on the big hole in the wall. He's like, oh, I can't seem to escape. It seems I'm stuck here for eternity in a hockey rink. Okay, I'm going to have to check the fine print on my season tickets now or something, I guess, just in case. Like, there's no explanation for that. No, Grandpa the Angel can't leave the hockey rink. Why not? Because.
Good enough.
All right. Well, so how do we take care of Santa? How do we wrap this thing up? This is when you just can tell that a screenwriter basically had his whole movie written except for the last 5 minutes.
I didn't know what to do with it.
It's like, all right, so we're here. How do we kill Santa? Ooh, damn.
That's a fantastic question.
I'll have to get back to you on that. So this is the solution they came up with. It's going to sound random, and here's why. Because it is. So Nick and the girl, they make their way to town, and there's a group of guys, the skeet shooters and such, I assume. We see they're getting together, and they're talking to an Indian guy who has had tracheal surgery and needs to speak with that warbling voice box. And bear with me, folks. I'm trying to piece this all together. It doesn't make sense. I'm trying to.
You're simply explaining how it's going down the same way we watched it.
Basically, this is them it's all expository at this point. Okay, guys, you always wanted to shoot a reindeer, right? Of course they did. Okay, here's your opportunity to do so. Get your guns ready. Nick then stands back and says, I'm going to call him in. Huh? Wait, when was this ever explained? When did Nick ever learn what the secret calling whistle is to summon Killer Grandpa?
It was in the book.
Was it though?
I mean, that's my assumption.
He then stands back, fingers in his mouth, and he does this, whistle, unique whistle. And all of a sudden, from behind the moon, we see curling around Santa and his white buffalo hell deer coming towards them. And everybody now is excited and starts opening fire while Santa's still about 2 miles away. Maybe let him get within the zip code before you start opening up on the guy. Better shot, I'm just saying. But they do so. Nick tries to hit the buffalo through his scope, and it looks like he hit him, but he didn't. You know who did, Paul?
Tell me.
The girl's father, who was off on the side with his bazooka.
Yep, I knew that's where you were going.
I know it sounds cliche, but Santa's hell deer was taking out by the girlfriend's father and his bazooka, who we didn't really see in the whole previous aspect of the scene. But that, so that took care of the buffalo, hell deer, and Santa, we presume, crashed. Now we go to a scene where everybody's gathered around a flagpole where Santa is impaled and on the ground. Blood everywhere. He's dead. Oh no, wait, it wasn't Santa after all. It's the pastor.
Yeah, it's
I don't
getting
know.
weirder.
I don't know what's happening anymore. I have no concept of anything that's happening. And also now, granted, I was thrown by Nick carrying around the 3-foot nutcracker all that time. Now, supposedly, he was also carrying this book, The Secret History of Santa. This book, again, it's a hardcover book that's roughly the size of an end table. Nick just has it now.
Just walks around with it.
And basically, I don't even know why he has it. He just, says a few things, and now it's time to wrap up our movie. How do we do so? Because now it's midnight, Santa gets away, and everything is good and safe. We're not going to die anymore. It's after midnight. We now see Santa at an airport booking a flight to the North Pole.
Or he has to. Because he can't do it. He can't do it. No, he can't get there with his hell beast.
Yeah. And also, too, I had another little continuity error I picked up on. Dad hit the hell deer with a bazooka, right?
Mm-hmm.
We saw it in the scope. We saw it in the sight, right between the eyes. Blammo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Blasted him into beef jerky. Later on, a truck pulls up with the hell deer's head strapped to the hood.
Oh, now I want some hell deer beef jerky.
Got to be on sale somewhere. I'm sure Amazon can still get it to us.
Did you not see my picture the other day? I've picked up for myself for Christmas. I have purchased camel jerky and shark jerky.
I'll tell you this right now. The shark jerky is horrendous.
Is it really?
I have a bag of it in my cabinet right now. Actually, I bought some up in Orlando, and it's like, this is not really.
I didn't want to drop a lot of money on it, but I wanted to try that. There was snapping turtle, rabbit, python. I had those were options.
I saw mountain lion. This is the store I was at. They had mountain lion, ostrich.
Ooh, ostrich sounds pretty good.
I should have gone with the ostrich, yeah, but I was like, come on, they got shark jerky. I got to do shark. I cook shark. I've had shark steaks. I've prepared it. It was good. This stuff, no. This is like that Icelandic crap, where they hang the fish outside for like 2 years before they eat it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of on that realm. It felt like.
I mean, if you think I'm not going to eat this shark jerky Christmas morning, like Finn,
Yes. I'm just saying it's a little challenging. I'll just say
I
that.
might cut pieces of it off with a chainsaw just to stay in character.
Ooh, there you go. Too bad my Sharknado ornament is not an operational chainsaw. That would be so cool. Cutting steak with that.
Operational chainsaw, like a little pruning saw.
But yeah, we see Santa check in at a ticket counter, and I have to book a flight to this place and then transfer to the North Pole. And do you have anything to check in? He puts his red Christmas, I don't know what's in this thing, the toy bag on the counter, and then the woman says to him, "Has your sack been in your presence the entire time?"
Ridiculous. Just a ridiculous line.
We're closing our movie in this fashion. To which he just looks at her, and it's like, I'm surprised we didn't have like a sound effect, like a Catskills comedian would have. Womp womp. Yeah, I'm always in control of my sack. You know what I mean? Hey,
Hey.
try to fish, ladies. Hey.
Would you like to keep an eye on my sack? Hey-oh.
And then we see him walk over from the counter, go sit down in the terminal with everybody else. And that's our movie. It just like stops. There's no end or anything. It just so Santa's got to board his flight in 30 minutes. Merry Christmas.
Santa's got a brand new sack.
And then they even have a post-credit scene too, where he's like looking over his naughty list, and then he just turns to the camera and ominously says, "Are you next?"
Which is his catchphrase.
Yeah, that was
next.
Goldberg's phrase when he was a wrestler. This is our movie. I'm sorry, but wow. I can see where they were trying to have fun with this thing, but at the same time, you're still kind of bidding to make a movie.
Yes.
You have to. I get you wanted to get all your friends together and make this film, and what if we put the screws to Christmas and turn it on its side and made a black comedy? Good idea. Horrendous execution. Jeez. But I mean, yeah, Goldberg, I guess, had fun with this. I'll give him credit for that. I actually like Goldberg. Have you ever seen him when he was doing that reality show? What was the Broken Skull Challenge?
Mm-mm.
Basically, it was a competition that I think was based on military training exercises. So they would be out in the middle of almost like scrap desert area or something, and they would have to do competition. Like they would dig a trench 20 feet long, fill it with waist high water, and the two people would be on either end of it. They have to go through the trench past each other and ring the other person's bell before them, or they had to carry a log on their shoulder for a couple. It was like a hard Scrabble crap, and he was all about it. He was a good host for this because he's kind of like a no crap kind of guy. He's like, let me tell you something. Gotta get down that hill with this. Go. It's like, damn. Goldberg's all about. He's into this. Same thing with this role. He was just there. He's like, I'm a killer Santa. Watch me kill people as Santa. But you can go pick this one up on Prime. It is. I mean, I'll say it is. It's some fun to this. You can enjoy this. It's just different.
It's not long in the tooth, but that third act gets to be pretty.
Yeah,
monotonous.
the chase scene's a little ponderous, but if you put this on in the background while wrapping gifts, then it's a little more palatable, I think. And then especially during that scene, that's when you're going to do your hardcore cutting and taping anyway. You're not going to miss much in the third act. And just make sure you pay attention at the end when they take out the white buffalo hell deer with a bazooka. I think you have to watch that scene.
Nobody questioned that, by the way, when they saw it in writing.
I think actually they were saying something along the lines of, "Oh, thank goodness we got an ending." Okay. You got bazooka taking out the white bison hell deer. Perfect. Let's get out there and shoot this now. And also, I'll give him some props. Everything was pretty much, with the exception of the family dinner, everything was shot on location in the northern climes of Canada, Edmonton, Alberta, and surrounding areas. So there was some dedication to it there. I'll give it to him. Why Robert Culp is in this, I don't know. There's going to be some exploration needed for that answer.
Paycheck.
Guess so, but yikes, there we are. Well, all right, that's going to wrap it for us. Our Yuletide offering for everybody there. I assume, Paul, you're going to have some big family plans this holiday.
Yeah. I'm going to see my parents on Christmas Eve, then see my in-laws on Christmas Day and hang out. And then the following day, we're going up to visit my brother in Chattanooga. And we'll be up there for 3 or 4 days, seeing all of my brother, sister, and my birth mom.
Very nice, very nice. Similar here. I guess we got Sunday, my family party. Then Christmas Eve, we got to go up to the Okeechobee area to see the extended family up in that area. Christmas Day, and then about a week later, we got the kids coming in from Texas. So see them, granddaughter again. Gonna have fun for quite a while on our side, and we're gonna have fun here at KLRN as well, because we're gonna be doing replays, I believe, of our radio plays from years past.
Oh, nice.
Got to enjoy that. So keep an eye on the schedule and keep tabs on everybody else. And we are going to be back then. After it's going to be after New Year's, huh?
It'll be after the New Year. Yeah, we'll have to find a good New Year's movie of some sort.
All right. We can kick things off in that fashion. See what we can do to guide us through the dark underbelly of 2025. What could possibly go wrong?
Nothing can go wrong.
Well, all right, Paul. Merry Christmas to yourself, to the family. Go have a blast. And to everybody out there at KLRN land, Merry holiday to you all.
Happy Christmas, Hanukkah.
About to break a day. Oh, oh,